At an age when many people might find it difficult to drive or even just walk across the street, Mayetta Behringer was still piloting planes. Now 100 years old, she is a fierce, feisty, funny woman. She's undaunted by age, and her lifelong love of flying is as strong as ever.
It's often said that the only way to truly live is to do the things you truly love, as often as you can, for as long as you can.
I don't know where it came from, but I always wanted to fly.
When Mayetta Behringer was born on May 18, 1918, aviation was still in its infancy. The dust had barely settled on the Wright brothers' very first flight less than 15 years before.
Dad wanted to know what I really wanted to do, and I said, fly. He said to me, "You've never been up in an airplane. How do you know you're going to like it?" And I said, "Well, I've dreamed it for ages." So he said, "Okay, let's go for a flight."
From that first flight, Mayetta was hooked.
It was an open cockpit, and it was wonderful. And I never came down from that flight.
But life on the ground would hold its own turbulence and tragedy. Mayetta earned her wings, or pilot's license, in 1945, a major accomplishment at a time when few women flew, but one she was never able to share with her first husband, who died at the end of World War II in a plane crash. Years later, once the fog of grief had lifted, Mayetta met and married Commander William Behringer, the man who would become her co-pilot in life and in flight.
He flew jets off of carriers, and I loved that, and asked him why I couldn't fly and land on a carrier, and he just laughed at me.
Mayetta was flying high, often bringing her growing family on cross-country flights or training in 1961 to break the sound barrier in a military jet.
The pilot let me fly the airplane. Perhaps I shouldn't say this publicly because it may not be good for the pilot.
But time has a way of bringing even the most high-flying pilots back to Earth. 6 years ago, at 94, Mayetta decided she no longer had the strength to pilot a plane on her own.
I think not being able to fly the plane herself hurt more than anything else, and she just loves it. Happy birthday to you.
Last month, Mayetta celebrated her 100th birthday.
How you doing, Mayetta? Fine.
And was given a special gift
Got a big round, ready to taxi. We've done our run-up.
by her fellow female pilots,
So we've been cleared for takeoff.
a flight in her honor. And from the moment the plane's wheels lifted off the runway, slipping gravity's leash, Mayetta was in heaven.
I think it's the freedom of being up there all by yourself, and you are in control.
All right, is that descent too much, too fast?
But what goes up must too come down.
Thank you, Laura. That was a wonderful, wonderful flight. Oh, I'm always happy to fly, especially with Mayetta.
And as our plane taxied back to the hangar with our cameras still rolling, Mayetta had this to say.
It was beautiful. I'm glad you liked it. Then you have to come again.
I started crying.
You did?
We do good. I can't imagine staying on the ground all my life. That's an impossibility.
But at 100, Mayetta spends far more time on the ground than the air these days. Still, it's impossible to ignore the accomplishments and example set by a woman determined not just to fly, but to soar.
Is this still as much fun? Does it still hold the same joy for you now as it did back in the day?
Absolutely.
I asked Mayetta if she had to do it all over again, what kind of pilot would she be today? She answered that she would be a stunt pilot. She would do aerobatics. I said, "You're a bit of a daredevil," to which she just smiled.